Welcome back to another episode of Havoc Rundown. I'm Justin, your host, MC, and editor-in-chief. Today we're wrapping up the exciting June NHRL event, welcoming a special guest whose name is synonymous with high-speed aggression and elite-level control bot driving. You've seen his bots go head-to-head with some of the best battle bots where he suplexes competition, and at NHRL he's the mastermind behind Red Storm and Timber Viper. We're diving deep into design, driving, destruction, and everything combat robotics. But I'm not alone. Joining me tonight are our resident community liaison and queen of pit banter, bringing heart, insight, and a dash of chaos. Give it up for Ashley Beckman.
Oh, do I get a crown now?
You already proved your worth as far as community liaison many times over, so. The bot stat savant and trivia technician, bringing deep data and deeper burns, it's Ryan Hunter.
Well, hello there.
The creative engineer.
Kratos.
The creative engineer with a 3D printer in one hand and bold predictions in the other. Welcome, Tony Baker.
Hey, everyone.
Our journalistic juggernaut and drama hound, uncovering the stories behind the dents, is Thomas Carroll.
Despite all my rage, I'm still just a house spot in a cage.
And our special guest, known from BattleBots and NHL for Red Storm and Timber Viper, an icon of control and a master of suplex mayhem. Give it up for Kevin Milczewski. I'm saying that right, Kevin?
Yes, you are. Housepot in a cage? Sounds like I got a job to do.
Oh, no. I'm
Yeah, you picked the wrong time for that role, Thomas.
No.
Go flip the Thomas.
Stay back.
I think Kevin has earned his name as the enemy of housebots at NHRL. So. Well, we welcome you, Kevin. Thank you so much for giving us some of your time and talking with us. We're very excited to learn a little bit about you. Yeah, it should be an exciting episode. So we are going to first, as we usually do on any of these games, go into that dusty corner of Ryan's where he loves to play some mind games with us. So give it up for Ryan's Game Corner.
Hey guys. I cleaned out the game corner this week. I dusted everything. I vacuumed everything.
Wow.
It's not my fault. It's not that dusty. All right. I found a scale this week. We're gonna play weights. We're gonna play a weight game.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too bad.
Why do we have
All
to
right.
play this game every week?
All right, we're gonna play over under again, but this time with weights.
Oh, no.
Wait.
All right.
Ashley, we have to play a game every week because it's not just us playing. We've been told multiple times that people love listening and trying to play his games while they're listening. So we're doing it for
I
the
can't wait
listeners.
to find out how the house is going to get points.
People like to watch us or listen to us struggle.
Yeah,
That's
I like
really
listening to you struggle. That's a highlight of my recording time. All right. So weight is one of the most important parts of designing and building robots. I have created a list of objects and their weights. What I want is everyone to do is to decide which object weighs more. I'm going to give you two objects.
He's not done yet.
And I'm going to ask which weighs more. Some of these are estimated weights, of course, but a lot of them are very specific. The fun twist for this time is, once again, if the majority of the players are wrong in their guess, the house gets a point. But if the majority is correct, the house does not get a point. All right?
I got a question, though.
What?
Are these going to be in freedom units or metric units?
It depends on what objects I'm talking about.
Hornet.
No.
Thomas, you figured out his little twist before he even gave us a little twist.
Man.
Because he's going to be like, which one is more stone?
Well, actually, the repeat max is on Jupiter, while the Just Cuz was on Earth.
All right, does everybody understand the game?
Yeah, but I wish I
Yes.
didn't.
All right. So, we're going to start small. All right. The two objects I have for you are a standard Lego minifigure and a Repeat Robotics dual brushless drive ESC with wires.
Oh, with wires? Drive
With
ESC
wires.
definitely weighs more. Wait, do we have to ding?
Yeah,
Yes.
well, I'm going to
we
go
all
through
have to
everybody.
guess.
We all
Everybody
have to
puts
guess.
in the guess.
Okay.
I
All
don't
right,
think was Thomas not here for the last time we did
No,
over
he
under?
wasn't.
I don't
He
think
wasn't.
he was.
No.
I
Yeah.
don't think.
No, I was on
No.
a Antarctic expedition. I
Yeah.
still don't think I've made it back.
He's defrosting as we speak.
Thomas,
Yes.
which object weighs more?
The Repeat Robotics. Everyone knows Lego figures don't weigh anything.
All right, Thomas is a Repeat Robotics
With wires.
with wires. Justin, which object
Oh.
weighs more?
Oh, definitely the motor.
No, it's a
Oh, it's a
double
ESC.
ESC.
Oh, it's an ESC.
Yes, it is an ESC.
Oh.
It's quite small, but it does have wires.
I'm still gonna go with the ESC. I'm gonna go with the ESC.
All right, Justin goes with the ESC. Ashley.
I'm going with the Lego.
Okay, Ashley's going with the Lego. Kevin,
Do we get
as our
questions?
guest. Huh?
Do we get questions?
Yeah, of course.
How long are the wires?
They're standard packaged the way that they come.
The ESC.
He's going. Yeah, he's going
Okay.
with the listing.
Yep.
I didn't have that up, but that would have been a good idea. For all I know, he's playing
All right.
games with like 20-foot long wires attached to the thing.
Well, it could have been a Lego figure with all the head pieces and all that sort of stuff. That, you know? All right. We lost Tony for the moment, so we're gonna go and reveal a standard Lego minifigure is about 4 grams, but the Repeat Robotics dual brushless drive ESC is 6 grams. So it is the heavier. Congratulations.
Yippee!
Thomas, Justin, and Kevin. All right.
Okay,
See,
Ryan didn't get a
No.
point. I'm okay.
no. All right. The next object going up in weight is a standard brand new Galaxy S25 Plus, the newest generation of Galaxy cell phones,
Okay.
or a Bear FingerTech beater bar, standard as it comes out of the pack.
A bear?
Like a bear, like an animal, and I was like, that's not even like,
That's not
No,
even a
no,
comparison.
that's not even close.
It's Bear as in it doesn't have the screws and the teeth put onto it.
Okay, so this is the beater bar, I'm assuming, not
Yes,
the ant
yes,
beater bar.
the beetle bar.
The beetle bar. Okay. I think an ant beetle bar is about 3/4 of a pound, like 12 ounces or something, I think. Wait, no, it's gotta be less. That thing doesn't weigh anything. They're like 10 ounces.
But also, a cell phone doesn't weigh anything either.
Yeah, but a cell phone weighs about one cell phone, so.
Got him.
Wait, what? Which phone again is this?
Like, I'm an iPhone
What's the
user.
screen
This is not
size?
fair.
What's the screen size on that phone?
I was going to do the new iPhone, but I couldn't touch an Apple product even that close, so
Agree.
it's fine.
I'm going with
Wait, what's the screen size on the phone? Are we allowed to get that?
It's the Galaxy S25 Plus, so it's a slightly larger.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the largest screen.
Yeah.
I'm going with the cell phone is heavier.
Okay, Ashley, go cell phone.
I need a coin to flip. I've got a
Kevin?
2032 battery.
Kevin, which is heavier?
I think it's the phone. I think the phone's heavier.
Okay, Kevin goes with the phone.
I'm going with the beetle bar. That's what the coin said.
Okay, Thomas
Wait, is
goes
this-
with the beetle bar.
Is this the beetle or the ant bar?
Beetle.
The beetle.
This is the beetle bar. I'm trying to remember how much because I have it downstairs. I'm trying to remember how much it weighed versus my Android cell phone, which is about the same screen size and everything as the S25. I'm gonna go with the phone because that thing is heavy as hell. So
Phones are heavy, right?
yeah, I'm gonna go with the phone.
Okay. Justin goes to the phone. A Galaxy S25 Plus, as it comes out of the packaging, is about 190 grams. The FingerTech beater bar, the beetle size, is 149 grams. So the cell phone is larger. Okay.
I think that's like the first time I've gotten a point in like 3 episodes.
Okay.
Believe that thing's that light.
Yeah.
My aunt
Well,
weighs
it's-
heavier than that.
Oh, I know. I know. It's great. But that's before you put on like all the other parts and before it goes out, you know. The next thing,
I'm throwing out my coin.
how about, oh, Tony's back. Tony's back. All right.
Yes, I am back.
The house has not gotten a point.
The
Tony.
house hasn't
Yeah,
gotten any
that's-
points. Don't worry.
Yeah, because the house is
Awesome.
bad.
The next two objects are a Just Cuz RDY-5536 hub motor.
That's just rude.
Oh, okay. What is the intended weight class for this?
Repeat Robotics 2812 Beetle Weight hub motor.
Are they both Beetle Weight hub motors?
So the two
Yes.
Beetle Weight hub motors.
Yes.
2812, and what was the Seth one?
RDY-5536.
No Googling, Thomas.
No Googling, Thomas.
Hands up.
Hands up.
I'm like, why does he want this? Does he want the serial number too?
No, because 20 something 12, that's the stator size.
I was trying to find things on McMaster car, but I couldn't really find good weights on McMaster.
The 20 something 12 is the stator size. I was trying to see if the stator size was in the Just Cuz, because that determines the general size of the motor. It gives a good idea.
I believe it's standardized throughout. There's only one size for the Beetle Weight of the Just
I'm
Cuz.
gonna say Seth's is larger because it's got quite a bit more filleting to it.
Okay.
I believe it's got more aluminum content.
Oh, I should specify that I made sure that the replay hub motor, this is the weight with all the clamping and everything like that.
It's all the screws and everything.
Yeah.
Same for the Just Cuz.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna go Just Cuz is larger or heavier.
Okay. Thomas goes with Just Cuz. Tony.
Now to Google it.
I'm gonna go with the Repeat Robotics one just because
Okay.
I think he makes his stuff lighter.
Okay.
Wait.
Oh, we're going heavier. We're looking for
Oh,
heavier.
heavier. Okay. Then the one that Thomas is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was almost a.
Sorry.
Justin.
Just because I've picked it up and I know how heavy it is, and because they're in the store, in the pits, as well as the fact that I want to go the other way just in case, because this is the closest that I don't know which way to go. I'm gonna go repeat.
They are pretty close. Okay. Justin goes repeat. Kevin, which one is heavier?
I have no idea, so I'm guessing Just Cuz. I don't know wheels.
Okay. Ashley, you are the deciding factor here. There's currently only one vote for a repeat. So if it is not the repeat, if it is not, there's 3 on the Just Cuz. So we are, you gotta decide.
I'm going with repeat. Is heavier.
Okay. All right. The answer here is the Just Cuz RDY-5536 weighs 212 grams according to the website.
Okay. That's the same
And
as an
a
antler beetle
Repeat
bar.
Robotics 2812 Beetle Weight hub motor with the full clamping and wires is 195.6 grams.
Damn.
It is
close.
the Just Cuz.
Okay.
That's right.
The
Ryan
next.
still doesn't get a point. We're good.
Okay. I have 2 more. We'll maybe go a little bit quicker through these 2.
House is losing.
The house is losing at this point. It's fine.
Winning.
A Elite Gourmet 2-slice Cool Touch toaster
Oh my
from
god.
Amazon,
Bro.
What are you gonna compare these to? Here we go.
or a fellow hot thing, Caldera.
Wait.
Wait, which one?
Yeah.
So the question is the toaster more than
Caldera.
3 pounds?
No.
Caldera.
There's
So not Caldera 12.
So it
That
doesn't
would
say
be-
Caldera 12.
Right.
But-
Caldera is just the 3-pounder. So is the
Yeah.
toaster
Yeah, but
heavier than 3
which
pounds?
year-
Yeah,
Year
well, Tony's
Caldera.
right. The
Heavier.
question
Including
is,
the
is
mini
the
box?
toaster is the toaster heavier than 3 pounds?
Right,
Is
because
the
I know the weight of
toaster-
Caldera because I weigh it.
I know exactly. I know it too.
Okay, but is this Caldera's heaviest configuration?
It's still 3 pounds.
Okay, but what if it's lighter than 3 pounds?
This is the standard weight of Caldera weighed on the scales.
Okay, so the most recent weight of Caldera.
Yes. Yes.
Or a toaster.
Okay, I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna say the toaster because
Well,
I know.
specifically an Elite Gourmet 2-slice Cool Touch toaster on Amazon.
How much does the toaster cost?
Good question.
Oh, let me pull it back up again. I'm sorry. I should have saved it as a thing.
Elite Gourmet.
That's okay, Ryan.
Under
We can cut all this out.
$25 is later.
I think the toaster's heavier than Caldera.
Yeah, I think the toaster's heavier.
It sounds fancy.
It is quite fancy.
Okay, but how much does it cost?
Ryan was not
Are we
prepared.
talking about a cast iron toaster here?
No, it is not. No.
a little
Oh, there it is.
toaster.
I found it. It is $15.99.
Oh, it's lighter. Caldera weighs more.
$15.99. It has 1.25 1/4-inch slots for bagels, waffles, specialty breads, puff pastry, snacks. It is ETL certified.
I'm gonna
It's
say
black.
it weighs 1,200 grams. Actually, I'm gonna say it weighs a good bit less than Caldera.
Okay, Thomas, which weighs more?
Caldera.
Caldera. Thomas says
Caldera's 3
Caldera.
pounds. The toaster is 1,200 grams. That's what the
Kevin?
place reflects.
Robots
Kevin,
heavier.
which weighs more? Robots
Robots
heavier? Okay. Justin, which weighs more?
Since I think I'm gonna go with Thomas on this because it's so inexpensive. It's probably like a lightweight model or something like that. So I'm gonna go with Caldera
Yeah, it can't hold its alcohol.
Okay.
because the more
Tony.
expensive ones are like heavy duty and they're made of like heavier materials. If it's only $15.99, definitely Caldera.
Tony.
I'll go the opposite direction and go with the toaster.
Okay. Tony is going toaster.
Toaster strudel.
Ashley, it's once again up to you.
Sticking with the toaster.
Okay, Ashley goes toaster.
Because 3 pounds is
Caldera.
really not that heavy.
Caldera, the last time I weighed Caldera on my scale, on the scale in the pits,
Oh
was
God, he's gonna be like it's okay.
was
I was gonna
exactly
say
3 pounds
I was
when
gonna
he put it
say
on the scale.
you're gonna be like the last time I weighed him, he was 2.85.
Yeah, no.
And
No.
the toaster is
Like, no. Glenn is pretty good about getting exactly 3 pounds.
Yeah, a Elite Gourmet 2-slice Cool Touch toaster for $15.99 on Amazon. It's 2.25 pounds. It's Caldera. Okay, one last one. We're like 20 minutes
Well-
in, so I want to.
no,
Wait,
let's
Justin got the weight
That's
almost
all-
exactly right.
That's almost
Yeah, he
one.
did.
It's only 1,000 grams.
I was saying that
Yeah.
Caldera was two. I was saying that he was going to say that. No, I think I said 2.75.
Yeah,
But I was saying that he
2.85. Yeah.
He was going to try and trick us and be like, the last time I weighed him, he was 2.75 pounds, and the toaster is 2.85.
I
So
knew it.
Yeah.
Cheap
No.
toaster. Doesn't weigh much.
Which weapon weighs more? Light Force or Synthesis 30?
Wait, Light Force. Who the hell made Light Force?
Kevin,
Kevin,
it's the 30 pound.
The
Oh,
30
yeah, I
pound, the
remember
30
that.
pound Bite Force.
I remember. I was thinking it was Light Side.
Hold on. I'm trying to remember now because I weighed them both.
These are exact weights. No, it is not the robot. It is specifically only the weapon.
Synthesis 30.
Synthesis 30.
yeah, I'm going to go
Okay.
Synthesis 30 as well. I think this is a double blind. I think you're trying
Kevin's gonna pull out something out of his. I can't say where, but
I believe so. Tony, are you going Synthesis
Yeah, I'm going to go
30 as
Synthesis
well?
30. Yeah.
so
Okay.
Kevin be a genie, not the Kevin we have
Yes.
on.
Correct.
Yes. No.
Kevin be a genie is gonna pull something out.
Kevin, which
I think
one
it's
weighs more?
Synthesis. That thing's huge.
Synthesis 30. Everybody's going Synthesis 30. If you're all wrong about this,
No.
The
the
house gets
house
30
gets
points.
a point.
I'm gonna yell at
You
Corey.
still lose, but
I still lose, but I get a point. And that's the principle of the thing. Light Force's weapon is pretty light. It's 3.48 pounds.
Oh, thank God.
This is 30's lightest weapon.
What?
Oh.
5.25,
Oh,
and
thank
its
God.
heaviest weapon is 6.
Jesus.
Corey didn't let
Okay.
me down.
Yeah, I was going to say, his weapon
All
is just
right.
bigger. Like, it's
All right.
massive.
All right. Everybody get out of my games corner. Everybody get out. And
You can keep your
actually,
dust.
The winner this time, checking my numbers here, is
What?
Thomas.
No. way.
Thomas has the most points here. Thomas wins the round. Congratulations, Thomas. Now get out of my games corner. Let's do the podcast.
Well, can we go home? Grandpa's being weird again.
Yeah, let's go.
okay, Ryan took a good chunk of time with that, so let's,
I'm sorry.
let's move on to the June event. Okay, so the last event we had was June, and it was a normal competition round, so it was a qualifying event for the championships. We'll start off with the 3-pounders. We're just gonna talk about the I'll just mention the bracket really quick. In the semifinals was Monkfish versus Jelly Baby and Sad Octopus versus Caldera, with Monkfish and Caldera coming out on top and Caldera winning the 3-pound bracket. Glenn getting his first dumpster NHRL. He's won before, but it was in Rochester. So first dumpster NHRL. Congrats, Glenn. Love that. In the 12 pounds, we had the Invisible Hand versus Minor Threat 5 and Full Court versus Carmen, with Minor Threat 5 and Full Court coming out on top. And of course, there was that fight with Full Court versus Minor Threat 5, where Minor Threat 5 tried to use the little spatulas, and it kind of bit him in the butt, and Full Court came out on top. So that was another win for Coleman, another dumpster for Coleman. And of course, the 30-pound finals with Megatron versus Undertaker in the semifinals, and Red Storm versus Killswitch, with Megatron and Red Storm coming out on top. And then Red Storm, Kevin won the 30-pound finals, winning a dumpster for 30 pounds. So that was the final bracket match recap for June. So our question, like usual, is pick for favorite fight or favorite robot through the bracket in each of the weight class. So we're going to start with the 3 pounds. Does anyone want to talk about favorite fight, favorite moments, favorite robot that went through the bracket, anything like that?
Well, I wasn't there, so I'll start just because I didn't get to watch everything. But I just have to give, like, Murphy's Law shocked everybody. I'm like,
oh,
wait.
yes.
Like, hold on a second. I'm like, was this a joke pick for me in the bracket? Because I'm like, well, what could go wrong? And then he went way far. It was an awesome.
Quarterfinals. Got to the quarterfinals and lost to Sad Octopus, who, was the second place the last event. So, I mean, hey, you got to hand it to Murphy's Law. That was an amazing pick, Tony.
That's all I got.
Okay. Well, I mean, speaking of, I guess I will talk about Sad Octopus. We've had the family on in last episode. No, the episode before last episode, because last episode was Dan. So we had them on. Of course, Cam was in this with Sad Octopus, and Nora had Under Destruction. Sad Octopus got all the way to the semifinals versus Caldera. That was one hell of a match. If you were able to watch it, and I mean the driving was just on display, and even Glenn said it, though Glenn is the nicest guy in the world and will tell anyone that they're amazing, but still it was such an amazing fight. Sad Octopus did not win that one. They had to tap out because Caldera was, Glenn was just on top of his driving. So, but I got to give it to Sad Octopus. Another event in a row, making it to semifinals. It's just a matter of time before we see Dumpster. So that is my pick in the 3 pounds. Ryan.
I loved watching Monkfish, as always. Monkfish was in rare form once again, just taking down the opponents left and right. We got to see some really fun things like Swan Saw. I didn't realize it was going to come and actually look like an actual swan, which was really amazing.
Brings me joy.
Very neat.
Oh, it was so good. But we got to see and we got to see Wayo again. Wayo was amazing, as always. Wayo always blows my mind every time I see it.
Yeah, one of my favorite fights was Under Destruction versus YU.
Mm-hmm.
Nora drove that match absolutely incredible. I'm so proud of her. It was so much fun to watch. I came up right behind her as the fight started, and it was just amazing. It was such a good fight from both, and it was just so much fun to watch.
Okay. Thomas?
Shout out to Jay Lee.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately, the matches did not go as probably were planned. Big shout out to Candela Foxtrot's final act. If you didn't see the remains of Candy Fox, if you ever read the book Flat Stanley, that's kind of what happened. It was beautiful. Jay is very happy with how everything went that day.
Yeah.
Yep. No, go ahead.
Yeah. It had quite a flat exit.
She was asking me, she's like, do you think anyone would mind if I just started hitting a robot with hammers and go to Ed? He has a solution to your problem. She put it
in the flat press, right?
It went in the 100-ton.
Yeah, it went in the 100-ton press, and it came out as a pancake.
Yep. Yeah, I remember. I signed
Delicious pancakes.
Yeah.
Kevin, I know you were competing all day, but do you have a beetle that you were surprised by, or anything in the beetle weights?
I know he didn't make it super fun to bracket. I just love watching Dutch Oven. I think it's the first time he's been back in a while. It's so much fun to just watch that robot wreck everything, including itself.
Yes.
Classic.
I very much agree with that.
They had a crazy fight against Colossus, and it was so much fun to watch.
I was just trying to pull up as far as the beetle weights are concerned. So in the fantasy league, the winner of the Beatles in Fantasy League was actually Miles, Team Komodo Robotics. And that is because he got... trying to remember which ones. There we go. Monkfish and Snuggle Muffins. So Monkfish, of course, got all the way to the finals, and Snuggle Muffins was another one that I think we were talking about. It got pretty far. I think it got into the bracket, if I remember correctly. And yeah, so got him some decent amount of points in beetle weights. But yeah, so that was beetle weights in June. If we go into the 12 pounds, the one that I wanted to talk about that ended up getting to the semifinals that no one saw coming. I think if I don't know if anybody had the information in the league behind who was behind the invisible hand. Okay, well, Thomas, you weren't drafting, so you weren't able to pick them in the league. But the invisible hand got all the way to the semifinals, and no one had it in the fantasy league, so it didn't get anyone in points. But it was a really, really tight little robot that did a lot of damage, and it went through some fierce competitors. And it just ended up losing to Minor Threat 5, which, I mean, he comes back all the time and is always a threat in the bracket. I'm pretty sure Minor Threat 5 always gets into the bracket. He's always towards the end. So, yeah. So, the invisible hand. No one saw it coming. Well, I guess Thomas saw it coming, but no, I didn't see it coming. And it got all the way to semifinals.
I mean, I wish I knew the builder and I saw it beforehand, because I would definitely take an invisible hand. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, crap, how did that pass everybody?
Well,
sometimes it's hard. You just see the names. You don't really know much about them, especially if they're new.
Yeah. I mean, full court, we don't have to get into the whole full court thing, but full court, once again, like, ripped up that whole bracket all the way through. It is undeniable that full court does its thing and knows how to win the fights its own way. There was a lot of heavy hitters. And a lot that like really didn't make it super far. That it was kind of like shocking. Behemoth was really cool. And of course, Big Frank. I think we all love Big Frank. It was like, I believe you, Justin, you described it as looking like a dog that's scooting its butt behind it as it goes across the arena.
Well, I mean,
amazing.
And again, Tom is just there to have fun. He always has the most amazing builds, and he's just there to have fun with his robot. So there's nothing you can fault him on that. I mean, Frank is just a beloved member of the community at this point. Doesn't matter if it wins fights or not. Everyone's going to love it regardless. So, yeah.
Unless your name is Tony Clifton. Tony Clifton has a thing against Frank, but...
Yeah.
Well, that's a whole other thing. We can we can have Tony/Mark back on to talk about that a little bit.
Just Frank in general?
Yeah, just Frank in general. Just have an anti-Frank. No, you know what? We're gonna have Tony, Mark, and Tom on one episode and just have them. We're just gonna call it the feud.
That would work.
We're gonna talk about their feud. Kevin, I know you have a robot Timber Viper that is 12 pounds. Did you have any that you were watching during the day in the hobby weights that you were impressed by?
I didn't get to see very many of the hobby weight fights, and I haven't gone back and watched them yet. I know like some of the finals ones were pretty solid. But
Buzzkill versus Carmen was an absolute banger.
I love Carmen.
I love Carmen.
Yeah, Carmen is, again, one of those robots that's just very, very solid. It always comes back. You always know that it's going to go pretty far into the bracket, just waiting for it to break through all the way to the end. And, I mean, Carmen's loss in the semifinals was to Full Court. And Full Court is just so hard to beat. He just has a robot that can smother you. He knows how to drive it. And, you know,
Michael put up one of the best fights of the day against Full Court, and had the fork not gotten his belt at the end, I think he had a true chance at taking it just by how good he was driving.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
This is a slight deviation, but I'm curious. Kevin, do you have if you brought Timber Viper, do you have a strategy against Full Court?
Yeah, I got forks that are longer and a lifter. So
okay.
I think ironically Timber Viper's one of the robots that has an easier time with Full Court out of everybody there.
Okay.
It's not set up to fight everybody else, so I'm going to lose to everybody else. I think it would be a fairly advantageous fight for me, but maybe he's got some other setup sitting there in a box underneath. But Timber Viper would be a pretty good matchup with full court, I think.
Yeah.
He does have a ton of different setups and everything like that to use. And I like that. Have you fought him before?
No.
No. Because I'm imagining you going up to him, basically lifting him like a piece of barely cooked spaghetti, and just having him just like a pool noodle like on either side.
Spaghetti.
Just pick him up and place him on top of Fluffy, or I forget whatever bot, but just place him on top of the house bot.
I mean, I think it would be a fun fight because both the robots are in the air a whole lot.
Yeah.
They'd be moving around a lot.
It would probably be more fun than some of the kinetic weapon fights against full court, because there are people that do complain, and when you're watching YouTube and you're looking in the comments, there are people that do complain that full court fights are not fun to watch, because all he's doing is taking these bots, pushing them against the wall and holding them there, and just doing that over and over and over again. Which, it's whatever. It's a strategy, and he drives really well, and it's hard to fight. So, but I agree. Some kind of control lifting that exactly what Timber Viper does. I do think that's a more valid strategy against full court than a kinetic weapon against the TPU and other things that he has. Because kinetic weapons don't feel like they do much to him at all. So
I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen something like Phenomenon in the 12s that has a combination vert and lifter that could say strap a longer arm onto it to fight full court.
I want to see Phenomenon with a saw blade on it.
I keep begging Brandon to just make a 12.
Like, if you could hide the fact that you have a saw blade from full court. I hope Coleman's not listening, because this would be a very silly fight to watch. Like, if somebody takes a saw blade.
Are you gonna go get another airbag, Thomas?
No. You take a saw blade. If you can just because normally he runs his UHMW, body, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
And you could just slice right through that thing. He only runs the AR-500 when he's concerned about that. So if you just have two robots, one of them is the normal configuration, the other one's hiding, and then you just swap it out at the last second, you have a saw blade, bruh, he's cooked.
Yeah.
It'll be like a Scooby-Doo cartoon. They're going
there was a tiny bit of bot hiding this event, and I was
So the Minor Threat 5 configuration that he brought into the finals, he did that at the very end, and Coleman was not fully aware that he was doing that, and they were down to a time crunch at that we had to get them up there. It had to be done. It was the final. We had to get it downstairs, and he saw the I don't even know what to call that, spatula forks, whatever he was running.
Flappy forks?
Flappy forks?
What are those? That's
I know that there was some configuration stuff that Coleman was trying to do at the last minute. I'm pretty sure he was walking up to the table with a screwdriver in hand trying to get the last fork onto the front of full court, because he was just desperately trying to change the configuration. Though, of course, those flat forks ended up biting Minor Threat 5 in the butt.
A little bit, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was a good idea. Like, I saw what he was trying to do. I saw the concept behind it. But yeah, it just turned out that if you put flat forks and you get pushed up against the wall, they're just going to hold you there. So.
Yeah, I don't know what's with Minor Threat 5. It's either turning the other robot into, dust and just destruction, or it's getting stuck in the wall in the weirdest way. I don't know if anyone saw the Motorama fight.
Oh gosh.
But it's just those two things. There's two states for Minor Threat 5. Destroying everything or inventing a new way to get stuck. It's a very interesting bot to watch.
I think had the floor not been as beat up as it was, the strategy would have been stronger, but I think the floor worked against in that situation.
Yeah, I can see
Minor
that.
Threat dumpster soon.
Anybody else have any?
It's always some weird thing.
Like I said, he comes back all the time. He always makes it pretty far into the bracket. Like, Minor Threat 5 is just a really good robot. But
I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet. Wait, has he got one yet?
I don't think so. Not that I know of. But like Thomas said, it's either destruction or the thing. He's doing one or the other.
He's going to get stuck in the ceiling. I don't know if anyone saw that photo.
I saw that.
Yes, that was hilarious when that happened.
All our events this weekend. Yep.
Okay, so let's quickly move on to the 30s. So the big thing here that I want to talk about, because it was happening up in the pits and they ended up having to forfeit in the semifinals, was Undertaker. So Undertaker throughout the day, if anybody is unaware of why they forfeited, I think they kind of explained it a little bit when they did the video upstairs. They took massive damage to the front of that robot to the point that it cracked their... it wasn't, I don't think it was the bar, but it was the
the what the bar sits on.
The weapon shaft.
Yeah.
The weapon shaft. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
The weapon shaft.
It cracked the weapon shaft, and they didn't have like a spare weapon shaft, and they had to go and weld the weapon shaft together. And yeah, so they took some massive damage from their fights, and they gave it back whenever they did get it up and working. It's a nasty robot that deals a lot of damage, but they just took too much damage to continue, and it got down to the wire, and they basically had a weapon shaft that was in half, and they weren't able to get it back together. And we kind of had to go, well, you can't go into the fight without a weapon, and you're going against Megatron, so I don't think you really want to. So, what are we going to do? And they ended up forfeiting. So it was very unfortunate, because again, it's a very hard hitting robot. I would have loved to see Megatron versus Undertaker, but yeah, so I feel very, very sorry for Undertaker, and I hope they come back in the future, because it was a really awesome looking robot, did a lot of damage, and I'm looking forward to seeing them have another run at it.
I'm very sad that we missed out on seeing Two-Stroke return.
Yes.
Also,
Yeah.
Two-Stroke didn't even pass safety at any point in the day, which is kind of sad. But I think one bot that I didn't expect to be as cool as it was Kill Switch. Kill Switch, I was
fans loved Kill Switch.
Yep.
I didn't, somehow the thought of, it's themed as a Switch never crossed my mind. And if it was going to be themed as a Switch, I was thinking, it'll be themed like a Switch, like a light switch or something like that. No, it's a Switch as in the Nintendo Switch. So good.
So can I tell you, when I saw Kill Switch, the first time I saw it, I saw a picture, and all I saw was the red and the blue, but there was no design on top. So I still saw the red and the blue with the black in the middle, and it did not cross my mind that it was a Switch. I don't know why my brain did not make that connection. And as soon as I saw it with the Switch logo, I was like, oh, duh, that's so awesome.
And they had really dope team shirts too, with Switches, with like the Switch logo on it too. It was great.
See, the name is genius, because not only does it target the Nintendo fans, like, it's the Switch, I love it. It also targets the anti-Nintendo fans. So like, it's the Kill Switch. I want to see this thing die. So like, no matter what side you're on, you'll want to watch this thing fight. It's perfect marketing. But I can also see the Nintendo ninjas just like, you got to stop this.
Yeah. Now we just have to wait for the Nintendo lawsuit to roll in.
Yeah, this is not the one that you want to have blow up on TikTok. Killer Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, Austin's gonna get a cease and desist order.
Yeah, Kill Switch was so much fun to watch, because I think that's only their second event as well, and they got not wrecked, but taken out by Jameis in the first round, and then made it through the bracket and were kicking butt the whole way. Like, for a second event robot, holy cow, that was really good.
Yeah, and Professor Wasp was doing really, really well. That's another robot, and they went up against Professor Wasp and just dismantled them. Like, watching that fight was just amazing, because they tore that robot apart. Your fight with them, Kevin, was really great. That ended in a judge's decision, and it was. I just can't wait to see that. We can't wait to see that come back, because it's a very good robot.
That's the same team behind Undertaker and Whack as well. It's iRobotics.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. And then just really quick, just want to talk before we move on, is just the finals. Of course, Kevin, you did amazing driving, though we have some questions and listener mailbag stuff more about the robot in question, so I didn't want to go too much into it when we were just doing a recap. But I think it's a point that is echoed a couple times in the listener mailbag. Just top-notch sportsmanship, just allowing, just saying, I want to face JMO in his best, like, let him go back and do the robot. Like, that's, I just gotta, I had to give you props before we moved on, because a couple other people give you props in the listener mailbag. I'm like, I wanted to give you props first. So definite props on just, because you could have turned around, and I think they would have listened to you. You could have turned around and been like, no, that's unfair, blah, 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 and just not gone. But yeah, no, just amazing sportsmanship on your point, on your part allowing JMO to go back and get the spare robot. So
Thanks.
very cool.
Yeah, it's old school robots, right? You want to see a fight. We're not here to, forfeit, in my opinion. So if you can have a fight, have a fight. Just have fun.
Yeah. No, 100%. 100% agree. Yeah.
I don't know what
Which is
you're
very
talking
cool.
about. There was no weird thing that happened. The fight just happened as normal.
Yeah, everything was fine.
Well, this is also coming from Mr. Airbag himself, so
What?
we don't listen to Thomas's opinion on the ethics of robotics.
Ethics of robots.
He always pushes it to the limit. And then some.
Real Isaac Asimov. Yeah, that's Thomas.
I thought you were about to call him an Osman.
Oh, no. Those are fighting words.
We're not allowed to mention that.
No.
Just Cuz Robotics brings you the latest and greatest in beetle-weight drive motor technology, the Blitz Light, mini-size for mighty drive. At under 45 grams, these are the lightest and smallest 6mm shaft drive motors on the market. Our Blitz Light gear motor includes a fully custom 20mm all-steel gearbox mated to a customized 1604 brushless motor in either 2850 or 3800 kV options. The 29:1 gearbox has a super durable chromoly steel 6mm output shaft and M3 threaded face mounting. The Blitz Light can deliver the same peak torque as our awesome Dartbox Dragon brushed motors, but are 37% shorter and 25% lighter weight from brushless power. Make your bot a bit lighter with the Blitz Light, available today at justcuzrobotics.com. That's just C-U-Z robotics.com.
Hey there, bot fans. Are you ready to take your love for the Havoc Rundown to the next level? We've got a ton of ways for you to join the action and support the podcast you love. First, connect with us and fellow robot combat enthusiasts by joining our Discord. It's the perfect place to talk shop, share your favorite bot moments, and stay updated with the latest news and events. Make sure to follow us on Facebook to stay in the loop with episode updates, behind-the-scenes content, and community highlights. It's all happening right there. And if you want to show off your Havoc Rundown pride, check out our merch store on Bonfire. Right now, we've got the official Havoc Rundown logo tee waiting for you. Head to bonfire.com/Havoc-Rundown-T to grab yours today. But wait, there's more. You can also support us directly through our Buy Me a Coffee page at buymeacoffee.com/Havoc Rundown. Every contribution helps to keep the sparks flying and bring you more amazing content. And for the ultimate fans, don't miss our Patreon at patreon.com/Havoc Rundown. As a patron, you'll get exclusive access to bonus content like our Fantasy League drafts, D&D games, special interviews, and other exciting surprises. So what are you waiting for? Join the community, show your support, and keep the gears turning at the Havoc Rundown. We'll see you in the arena.
All right, let's move on.
Okay. Okay, so Kevin, I don't know if you've listened to a previous episode or not, but when we have a guest on, we have a signature segment that we do called our 5 in Focus, where each of us comes up with a question about robotics, about your history, just whatever we want to ask about, and it's just a question from each of us that, just answer however you want to answer. So I have listed Ashley to go first.
Okay, look at me go. Mine's a just general, vague kind of overview. I want you to tell us your favorite non-robot adventure or travel story.
Non-robot travel story. I don't get many of those.
I was hoping there was at least one.
So one of my favorite things to do, not robots, is actually go camping. So I think a summer or two ago, we went to the Lake George area in upstate New York, which is kind of like it's a lake buried in the Adirondack Mountains. It's peaceful and quiet. And I just sat in a camper for a weekend, had fires, like campfires with s'mores, and cooked hot dogs over the fire. And it was the most relaxing weekend I've had in a very long time. So that's my favorite thing to do when traveling, is just not do anything.
That's awesome. We used to go to Lake George when I was a kid as like a family every summer, and we would rent a cabin and we would bring our boat up there. And one year my dad ran over a rock so large that it broke our boat and we had to get like towed back. It was quite the adventure.
So, my best friend Drew owns land with his brother about, I think it's 15 minutes away from downtown Lake George, out in the woods. He has like a deck built on it and like a fire pit and stuff like that. So I'm actually, I think like 2 weekends from now or 3 weekends from now, I'm actually going to go up and go camping. So I know exactly what you're talking about. I've been up there a couple times. Lake George is just gorgeous. So yeah.
Trying to plan another one for this summer. There's no NHRL, so I got time.
True.
I think that's the coolest part of New England. Like, it's 20 minutes and you're in another state. Like, we can travel all over the place. Like, it's
Lake George is, I think, 5 hours.
4 hours. Yeah, it's about 4.5 hours up.
Yeah.
Totally reasonable.
Yeah, like that's nothing.
Yeah, not bad. Though, if you tell that to a European, they're like 3 countries over. So.
I mean, they do speak French up there, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, you do get the Quebecians.
So next is Tony.
So I'm always the education type person. So it's like, if you could go back to the very beginning of your combat robotics journey, what's the one piece of advice you'd give yourself?
I would probably tell myself, get started with learning machining stuff sooner, and like how to specify things. I had like some things that I sent out to have machined, and I'm not a mechanical engineer, so I sent them. I am damn sure that things I sent people are on people's wall of shame of like, some numbskull designed this, look what they made us make. But if you pay them, they still make it. So
they'll make it.
Like, some poor shop had to make my Beetle spinner to 1 thou tolerances. Apparently it matched. I don't know if it really did or not, but yeah, I there's stuff there that I had to learn the hard way of like, this is not how you're supposed to do this. So probably should have asked for help before just go and sending it YOLO.
Good. That's kind of cool.
Do you think Send Cut Send just has a wall of weird that they just put all of our weapons and stuff like that?
Oh, I'm
on,
sure.
Like,
It probably gets updated every day.
Yeah,
That's a wall I want to see.
It's like a ranked wall, like the number 1 to like, oh no, this one jumps to 3 now.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. There's no doubt that they have that, and it's probably, honestly, there's probably a lot of robot stuff, because I mean, we use Senkan Send, but you got to think about all of the other companies and stuff that use Senkan Send, and people like blacksmiths that probably use it to make certain tools and other things or cutouts that they need.
And blanks.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's probably not just robotics. There's probably a lot of stuff up there. That's, they definitely have a wall of a wall of weird, or at least some kind of like folder on their shared drive. It's like, look at these weird ass designs.
For sure.
I could definitely see that happening. Brian, go ahead.
All right. You're known for your having the greatest control bots that have defined the style of making speed and driving a weapon. What are the design philosophies that go into accomplishing that in your robots?
So the first is reliability. If you can't drive with a control bot, you're going to lose. By that, I mean like your drivetrain. So I usually build redundancy, and there's a lot of weight in the drivetrain that other robots don't have. So like compared to a spinner, my robots have like 25 or 30% of the weight in the drivetrain, and that's just oversized components that aren't going to fail. So that's number 1. And the other one is the kind of how you interact with the opponent. So the fork setup, there's quite a bit of design that goes into that, and especially like the Timber Viper Redstorm setup that has the dual action. That's actually for a reason, in that the lower arms that interface with the other opponent aren't powered. It's only actually the top draw that's powered. So you can beat the snot out of those lower arms, and it's not going to backdrive the gearbox and wreck it. So that is by design to like, hey, you're gonna shove these forks into your spinner. How many times can you take it? That's kind of the whole design philosophy is. Essentially, I got started from I watched a bunch of fights and I kind of realized most spinners can only hit you 10 to 15 times before their spinner stops working. So if my robot can take more than 15 hits, I'm probably going to win the fight. Or their spinner's going to stop working and then I have a chance. So just some general stuff of like that. If your robot's really tough and doesn't stop moving, it's hard to lose a fight. And once you don't lose a fight, then you can just start winning them.
That's actually really interesting and very true. I mean, like spinners reliability is like a big thing that they and even there's matches that like, especially two very highly powerful weapons and like the higher weight classes hit once and then that's the end. That both bots might not be knocked out or maybe they're both crawling, but yeah. Now the top jaw and the bottom jaw, they're connected, right? So that it lifts up. How do you connect them?
So they're on a shared shaft. So there's a shaft that is on the lower jaw that the top jaw rides on. And so the top jaw is powered when it bottoms out either on the lower jaw or clamping another robot to the lower jaw, it turns the whole thing into a rigid arm that then can lift. So the clamping force is actually only equal to the weight of the other robot. So if you've ever noticed, like it has a tendency to drop robots behind itself. It's because when it gets to vertical, there's no clamping anymore. Hence where the idiot strap was born on the heavyweight. Because I kept dropping spinners behind me and then there's no armor in the back. That's kind of painful. It's like, great, I just put you right where I don't want you. Oh, god darn it. How do we stop that? Well, we put a rope on it and call it an idiot strap because I'm the idiot who dropped them behind me. So like that's the gist of it. It makes it a little harder to control the arm. One of the funny things is the one time I've actually shut off the house robot instead of just flipping it was with an arm setup that didn't have the two jaws. It had a single arm. It's because I don't have the weight for it with the giant wedge on Timber Viper. So it's actually a lot easier to control the arm with just a direct drive. So that's the only one I've actually shut the house robot off with. But they have the same torque. It's just harder to control the exact positioning when it's got the kind of dual floppy arm. But with them disconnected, it's really hard to blow up the gearbox because you have to back drive the top jaw instead of just the lower one.
That is so sick, and it makes so much more sense watching the action of the robot going and everything like that.
It also plays kind of into Judge's setup, especially for, I think it works with NHRL too, but for BattleBots especially. When I'm attacking with the lower jaw, even though it's unpowered, it's still part of the weapon. So I'm attacking with the weapon when I'm driving at you with those. So it counts as aggression, even though they're kind of passive, but they move. They're part of the moving weapon. So I argue that like I am attacking with the active weapon, even though it's specifically designed to be like a combination of passive active. So it's angle shooting, but it works for the big event.
You do really well every time you come. I mean, like I don't think you've come and not gotten at least pretty far at NHRL, correct? I mean, and we don't really talk about BattleBots very much on this podcast, but the last season of BattleBots, you did extremely well also. Like we were cheering you on every single time.
So let me get into my question.
Okay, sorry.
So my question is, you've driven in both NHRL and BattleBots. How do you mentally and strategically prepare for such different formats, and what is the biggest difference between driving at both?
They're actually really similar. Like the thing that gets me is the active crowd. So you've got people screaming, yelling, cheering, shouting your robot's name, shouting your opponent's robot's name. It's a tense environment. It's nerve-wracking. So they both kind of prepare the same way for the arena side. Preparing the robots is very different. The biggest thing is the floor difference. The robots drive very differently at NHRL versus BattleBots because other arenas, my robots use magnets to hold them to the floor, and they drive great. NHRL, I have cleats, and they drive okay. So there's a lot of differences in preparing the robot and like how I can drive. That goes into the difference there. Like I prep the robot a little differently for NHRL.
Do you drive on the West Coast at all, where they have the metal floors?
Yeah, that's why I got started
out there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
With the Western Allied Robotics, our arena is steel floor. So that's where I basically learned how to do robots in magnetic drive.
Okay. Yeah, it's. I think we've heard that a couple times for people that come from the West Coast and deal with that kind of stuff. Is magnets is a huge thing, and then they come to NHRL and we're like, no, we like the wood, and you kind of got to deal with that. So.
I mean, I've come to appreciate that it's really cool to have the two different setups because they produce two different kinds of fights, and like some robots work in one that don't work in the other, and you got to adapt them. That's actually kind of what's happened to Timber Viper. I've kind of soft retired it from NHRL because it's got too much weight in the drivetrain. It's too set up for the magnet drive. So with NHRL, like if you watch some of the fights, the darn thing does a wheelie and a backflip. Like it's got so much power and so much traction, it will do a backflip from a standing start. It will also do a barrel roll. Like if I try to turn while driving fast, the robot rolls with it. Wow. It's 2 horsepower drive and a 12-pound robot and infinite traction. Well, grip, not track, not. It doesn't have the downforce. So it's a lot harder to drive that robot at NHRL. So I'm cooking up a new 12-pounder because that one I soft retired it because I like rebuilt it in 3 hours the night before an event and then won an event on the West Coast. And I was like, all right, no, I'm done taking this thing.
Staying here.
It's too good. It's too good with the magnets. It's too biased towards that. So
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Do you have any kind of ideas of your new hobby weight? Can you just give us some kind of idea of like what direction you're headed in?
Yeah. Still debating exactly what I want to do, but I think I know. It'll be a spinner, not vertical.
Okay.
It'll have a wheel.
Oh, okay.
Well,
So are you going like the complete opposite of what you're known for then?
Yeah. I want to try something new.
Awesome.
So
hell yeah.
it's I got some spare parts kicking around, and I got some time off work coming up. So I'm like, I got 3 months to build a robot. Let's see what I can throw together.
Hell yes.
Okay.
That's great.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So, if
Okay.
it works, it'll be something new that we haven't seen before. So not gonna say it's gonna be good, but it'll be new.
Well, I'm very excited for it. That sounds very cool. So like usual, we leave our wild card till last because his questions are always a head scratcher. So Thomas, go ahead.
How much timber could a timber viper
God.
vipe if a timber viper could vipe timber?
About 2 pounds.
That's a good amount of timber.
Yeah. Are we talking like complete shredded timber or lifting timber?
Well, that's up to you. It could be lifting timber. That sounds like it could lift more.
Ashley's camera is off, but I just imagine that she's on the ground, not able to breathe.
It can lift like 15 pounds, something like that. So like a couple 2x4s.
Not bad. I'm impressed.
It also makes
Did
tails of
you-
sawdust if you put your foot in front of it.
So if the
Oh, no.
floor at NHRL got kind of
lava.
knocked up a little bit,
Oh.
Timber Viper
We
lift
wouldn't have
the
a floor.
floor and have the other robot fall into it.
Yeah. I did that at Moto with my 30-pounder. The forks went under the ground and I couldn't reverse out because I didn't have cleats at that time. And I was just like, what do I do? Oh, I'm a lifter. And climbed up like 2 feet of floor. I'm free now.
Good.
Oh, that's so good. So good.
My robots have a
Tom-
long history of doing bad things to floors.
And other
You're
things in
still
the
not
arena.
as bad as Jake Maximizer.
Yeah.
Wow.
He loves to destroy floors.
And kick rails and yeah. Did you have
And
another
himself.
question, Thomas, or was that your question?
Oh, no, that's the question.
That was absolutely his question.
Yeah. That is what we wait for.
Yeah, great. Very cool. Thank you, Thomas. And that was our 5 in focus. So our last segment that we have is our listener mailbag.
You've reached the voicemail of the Havoc Rundown. Please leave your message after the tone.
That is where we reach out to our great listeners and Discord members and ask them to ask their own questions of our guests. They could be any kind of question that they want to ask. We got some real bangers, real good ones this time for you, Kevin. So let's get into it. So this is our listener mailbag. The first question comes from Alex G. He says, hi, Kevin. Congrats on getting the dumpster the hard way and showing one of the best parts of this community by letting JMO swap bots. See, what did I tell you? There's a couple of people that give you props on that. So as a fellow control bot driver, how do you find you driving has changed as you've gotten more experience? And how does it change match to match against different bot archetypes?
how's it changed as I've played more with robots? I'll phrase it. Ironically, I get more conservative the longer I drive, because you start finding like I drive really aggressively and then make one mistake and lose. So it's about finding the balance of how do I drive aggressive enough to control the fight, corner the opponent, do what I want to do without making mistakes. So as we've played with robots more and more, I find myself wanting to emulate Whiplash a lot, and like Matt Vasquez, of when you and other folks have told me when you have a pin, run the time off the clock. I like exciting fights, so I like to get the pin. They start counting. All right, I demonstrated I have control. Reverse, resume the fight. But that's more time my robot has to take damage. So like I've started holding pins a little longer, right? My robot has a nice lifter, so it's not, I can end it with a flourish, do things like that. But I start running out the clock a little more the more experience that I've gotten running robots. Did I miss half the question?
No, I don't think so.
That's
basically the answer. Okay, the next one is from Kokoda Mane. I can never say your Mane. I keep on wanting to go say it, and then I feel like I'm saying it wrong, and my brain does like this reversal. Okay. Kokoda says, hello, Kevin. Congrats on getting your well-deserved golden dumpster. You're here to control bot drivers everywhere. My question is, out of all the times you've assaulted the house bots, which one is your favorite?
My favorite's the first time I flipped it. I think it was Kitchen Sink, I think is the robot's name. I felt bad because that might have been it.
Kitchen Grill.
Yeah. Because I remember it was a British team and they came from they flew across and we fought them in the first round. But that was great because you guys, NHRL had not kind of Red Storm proofed the house bots yet. The lid came off, the fire extinguisher fell out, the batteries fell out, and I dumped that onto an active spinner. That was like inches away from being glorious. And I didn't know it could do that, right? Like I kind of had a feeling it could, because I've actually lifted the I tested the lifter by lifting the tractor in my garage, like the lawnmower. I'm like, that's okay, that works. But yeah, the first time we got that one sticks in my mind. That was epic.
So good.
Okay, yeah, I believe I remember that because I remember Kitchen Grill. Yeah, the British team. Yeah, that was awesome. And they've had to make upgrades to the house bots specifically for you. So yeah, that's the.
Well, they replaced the switch before
Well, and now there's a golden switch, so they're just egging Kevin on it.
Yes. Yeah.
Ironically, I think big wheel bots have turned off the hotspots more than I have, like huge style. I think they've done it twice.
Yeah, maybe. I know who was the one that did it with the stick. Why can't I think of the name?
Ramplan?
Brennan was Slamplan.
Ramplan.
Yeah,
Ramp.
Well,
yeah,
no, Ramplan is the one that did it with the stick. Yeah. Okay, so Julian Papazian from Mako says, hi, Kevin, big fan. So what do you attribute your top-notch driving skills? Do you get a ton of practice with your bigger bots? What is your biggest point of advice to someone looking to improve their driving?
First off, Mako is awesome. That robot's so freaking cool. And ironically, bigger the robot, the less driving time I have with it. I have the most with the 12, second most with the 30, and the least with the bigger one. It's harder and harder to find places and time to drive them. But what has helped me is I set up my controller like an old video game. Like my controller is left stick drive, specifically because I grew up playing Nintendo 64. So I have God knows how many hours, like hundreds or thousands, playing Nintendo 64. Left thumb is pretty good at contrling things.
Wow.
Okay.
Do you also hold
that's
it in
about
that
right.
weird way that we used to have to hold the N64 controller?
No. But it's left stick drive just because of that. And then just as much practice as you can. So what I've done is kind of trash the floor in my apartment, but I got like the stickiest wheels I could get with no cleats, and I drive the 12-pounder around my apartment. And I got like tennis balls, so I will chase tennis balls, like grab them and throw them, and almost like a little game.
I was gonna say like my dog.
Exactly.
Like my dog does that.
Jason said tennis ball.
Are you the bottom floor?
No.
Oh God.
Oh boy.
So like Oh yeah, I'll take like other robots and like suplex them, and then I'll realize like, oh wait, it's 11 o'clock. I probably shouldn't be like slamming things on the floor.
Oh man.
Your downstairs
And this
neighbors
is why I
love
own
you.
my own house.
The question is, what does your neighbor think you're doing upstairs? That is like, what is he rolling around upstairs?
Driving robots.
Probably the same thing I think my upstairs neighbors are doing.
Yeah.
Oh no. They have robots
True.
too?
Definitely had neighbors that sound like they're bowling upstairs. That's all it sounds. It's fine.
And it's funny because like the softest Banebots wheels, they're actually like erasers. So there's like little eraser shavings all around my floor when I'm done. I gotta go vacuum them up. Clean up the floor.
You should take a number 2 pencil and just draw some stuff on the floor, see if it's gone.
There you go.
It will.
Okay, very, very cool. So the next one comes from Stephanie from Dark Horse. Says, "Hi Kevin, great job this past weekend. My question is, have you attempted to play with the housebots since the upgrades were done to the switches?"
I got a couple of chances this time, but a lot of the times when I had an opponent stuck this event, I had my super long forks on, which are like 18 inches long or something crazy like that. So it's really hard to control the tip. And also with those on, I can't tip it over. There's not enough torque because it's just a longer lever.
Right.
So I didn't get to play with the housebots as much as I wanted to this event. But I had a good eyeball at the switch. I have some ideas. It's not going to be easy. They're a 4-position switch. I mean, give me a chance. But use a 3-position, not a 4-position. Come on, Sam.
Well, you got the world championships, you know.
Yeah.
There's a possibility, you know, have some fun there.
Yeah, very true.
Oh, like
Yeah, no, go ahead.
flipping the housebot is now like an active strategy. Like I know I told somebody and I regret it because now I think they're going to tell the drivers how it does it. But there's a trick to how I can flip the house robot, and it needs active participation from the house robot in order for me to do it. Basically, they have to drive over the forks in order for me to get underneath them far enough to lift them.
Don't tell them. Now they're going to avoid that.
Now I was gonna say now they're gonna try it.
Either they're going to try it or they're not going to think about it enough for it to matter. Like they're not going to be thinking about it because I doubt that the judge or the ref who is driving the housebot is thinking about that as they're driving the housebot. So I don't think they're going to think about it enough. I think you're safe.
I'm going to apply to be a housebot driver. I'm just going to take the controller.
Thomas would actively help you, though.
Yes.
Yes, this is true.
All you would
On
see
to
is
you,
the
Thomas.
Don't give away my secrets.
The houseboat would
Gwen
follow
would know
you
your
around.
secrets, Thomas.
No, Gwen doesn't know. Gwen, everything you heard is actually just happening in Minecraft.
No, it's instead of sitting in the corner, the houseboat is just following Red Storm around, just like, come on. Okay, so Cam from Sad Octopus said, "Hi Kevin, huge congrats on the dumpster. You earned every bit of that with your driving. My question is, if you were forced to build some kind of spinner robot, what would you build?" And you kind of mentioned this earlier.
Yeah, it's a horizontal tombstone-ish, but with a neat twist. But I can share some other stuff of ideas that we've had. We've thought of different ways to like either make the Red Storm robots have a overhead attack like a hammer saw, or just a regular vert on them. One of the most interesting ones we've had that we haven't figured out exactly how to do it yet, right? Do it right? Yeah, English. But an idea we want to do at some point is the robot has so much extra drivetrain power once it's going. Can we use that to power the weapon? So one idea we have is like run belts off the back of the motors through a one-way bearing to power a spinner. So you drive forward and it actively spins up the spinner from all of your drivetrain.
That's so great. That is so awesome.
Yeah.
It kind of has downsides of like, oh, the spinner's always at full speed. there is no slow. Which is kind of my style, so it might work.
Yeah.
Just haven't had the cojones to try to do that, but we keep coming back to it of like, that would be really cool.
Yeah. The overhead idea for Red Storm is really interesting too. I like that. And especially
Red Storm hammer saw.
with your already control style and your driving, I think would benefit from having an overhead control, an overhead saw. That would be amazing.
Yeah, it would give us like a way to win damage that doesn't rely on the opponent self-breaking. So that would be really cool.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of weight to do it without taking weight from the things that keep the robot alive. So one idea was literally actually take one of those Just Cause hub motors and stick a Stick a beetle weight weapon on the end of the arm. Like, keep the opponents honest, right? Like, hey, put something on the top armor.
You could snipe a belt or something like that with a beetle weight weapon.
Yeah.
It's gonna explode if somebody hits it with a full 30-pound weapon, but yeah.
Okay, so Nick from Crafty Cat Combat, the team Crafty Cat Combat, Bagheera, he said, Kevin, fantastic run with a bot that absolutely refused to be broken. In the last event, you tried to get under the house bots a couple times, but your ground game struggled to get a fork hold. Since you obviously have no problem with the opponent's robots, any changes planned specifically for the cubes? So do you have any changes to Red Storm specifically to go in with the plan to flip the house bots?
Actually, yeah. There's some fork ideas that makes it easier to flip the house robots that we're going to implement. They don't go onto all of the forks because essentially I have 3 different heads for the robot that are fully assembled. And so depending on which opponent we fight, we put the right head on the robot and you swap the steel armor belt also. Mostly it's between verts and horizontals, but there's a couple of different configs for verts. So there'll probably be one that goes for, some specific opponents that makes it a lot easier to do evil things to the house robot.
I like it. I love the evil things to the robots. I like it.
At this point, they're basically on my side.
And then the final question comes from Brian from our Discord. He says, Kev, what is the most fun thing you've suplexed in testing?
I'm going to interpret that to mean all my robots. So that's actually going to be Big Dill. There's a video on my YouTube channel of me alone in our workshop and testing, setting up the lifter setup for my heavyweight. And I made it full suplex another 250-pound robot and basically scared the bejesus out of myself because I didn't expect it to work. And then you realize you're standing... And in my infinite wisdom, I didn't realize, the robot's, almost a foot tall. The arms are 3 feet long. Oh, yeah, I just dropped 250 pounds from 4 feet up in the air onto the concrete.
I've got a follow-up question.
I had, a piece of wood down, and, it shattered the wood and shit split. I'm like, oh, it worked. Oh, shoot, it worked.
I shouldn't have done that.
That's exactly what I was like. All right, I'm done for tonight. I'm going home.
Kevin, how much do you weigh?
At one point, I almost weighed as much as my robot, and that was a problem.
So yes, the robot can suplex
less
them.
than a robot. Okay. That's all I need to know.
Yeah, I think that would be a dangerous experiment, Thomas.
Yeah, but someone has to do it.
For the next Ryan game.
So... I'll give you what you want to know. I can stand on Red Storm and I go up.
This is good information.
It'll also drive with me standing on it. So in theory, I could drive the house.
Jesus.
just make a seat. Just put a seat on it.
So
it's entered in a go-kart competition.
I'm sorry to keep talking about my heavyweights instead of NHRL, but
no, it's good. It's
any
good.
robot. Yeah,
I
any
bought
robot.
a set of metal folding chairs to weld it to the top of my robot to ride it, and then I check it out.
Fantastic idea, though.
Two.
Well, hold on. If you go down south, they literally weld bar stools on top of lawnmowers and drive them around. So,
Yeah, but a lawnmower doesn't accelerate at 3 Gs.
True.
It's sitting.
This is true.
I need to dial down the rates, and then maybe that works.
Isn't there? Of course, it would be ultra dangerous, but how isn't there every time there's a BattleBots competition, everybody just a parade of BattleBots with welded chairs on top, just going through the pits?
Drive down Las Vegas Boulevard.
You see Ricky on top of Mammoth, Captain Jack Sparrow, on the end of the boat.
This might have to happen. That would work.
This is a pretty
It's
good
incredibly
idea.
dangerous, but
Yeah.
all right.
Oh, come on. They got the F1 cars going down the Las Vegas Boulevard. They can take care of them with BattleBots.
For that.
Danger's
You
your middle
cannot
name.
tell me. You cannot tell me that Ray Billings has not sat on top of that thing he uses to deliver Tombstone at least once and driven it around. You cannot tell me he hasn't done that because I know he's done that.
Ray Billings
I'm sure.
has done a lot of things.
Okay, very cool. Well, so that is going to end the episode. It's going to wrap it up. Huge thanks again to Kevin Milczewski for joining us. talking about driving philosophy, just your amazing run through the June event and that final fight with Megatron. Just so happy to have you on. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Before we go, got a big announcement. We're launching our Around the World Summer Series. It's going to be a brand new segment where we spotlight builders and teams from across the globe to explore how combat robotics is evolving in different parts of the globe. First up, we'll be talking with Team Unforeseen Consequences from Canada to hear their story, learn about their design, and get a peek into the Canadian robot combat scene. In the meantime, don't forget to check out our link tree for all the ways to follow sport and grab some merch at linktr.ee/Havoc Rundown. Again, that's linktr.ee/Havoc Rundown. Follow us on socials, stay plugged into the latest robot drama, and as always, keep your forks sharp, your drive clean, and your robots spinning. Everyone, say goodbye to our listeners, please.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.